She who thrives. Phoenix rising. The true me. The ups and downs crazy in life. So take this journey with me. She who thrives. Yeah. Good morning, sunshines, and welcome to She Who Thrives podcast, where women have faced different adversities in life and became successful in their own right. And today, I have the pleasure to have my child on the podcast. She's not biologically mine. I did not push her out, but she is the product of me because many people say she's just like me. So welcome, Elyahna Burgos.
Thank you for having me. I am her child.
So she reminds me all the time that she is my child. So we'll see by the end of this podcast if you guys agree with that she's my child.
I am her child. She's been going around saying she doesn't have any kids, but
I didn't say that. I said I didn't have any biological children.
I am here. I exist.
So correct that.
I exist.
So I asked her to be on here and she's kind of been freaking out. I think she's been dodging me really to be on here because she's been afraid. So whenever she gets like really highly stressed out,
start fidgeting.
Yeah, she fidgets and she runs away from me because she tries to run away. But I have always been the type to try to put her on out there and push her to do different things and break out of her
my shell.
Yeah.
I told you I'm her daughter.
So today we're going to be talking about a few things. She didn't want me to go run through anything with her.
No.
She just wanted for me to basically surprise her with the subjects that we're talking about. But at any point, if you feel like you're not comfortable with it, just let me know.
Okay. She's going to ask me a hard question. I already know it's coming. At least.
It is going to be hard, but it's okay. So, the first thing I want to talk about is in the last two podcasts, I had talked about when you're in your 20s, you make all of the mistakes. When you're in your 30s, you're fixing all of those mistakes. And when you're in your 40s, you're just chilling. Like you got the money to be able to do whatever you want. So right now you're in your 20s.
Yeah, I am in my 20s.
I have pushed you to make as many mistakes as possible. And so that way you're not put in that shell or in that box, and that you can figure out exactly what or who you want to be and figure yourself out. So do you want to talk about that journey?
Oh my goodness. She'll let me drown, guys. She will literally let me drown. She'll be like, figure it out. And then she'll be like, well, after I figure it out, she'll be like, see, I could have told you that. Or she'll tell me everything I said. I'd be like, okay. She'll like tell me after the fact that I've already figured it out. She won't let me, like, she won't help me.
That's not true. It's not that I don't help you. I'll give you, okay, so this is what I do. She'll come to me and ask me certain things and I'll give her two scenarios. I'm like, okay, if you do this, these are the possibilities of what can happen. And if you go this route, these are the different possibilities. But I never tell her
what to do. So it helps me not at all.
Yes, it does.
No, because then there's two answers and then I don't know which one to take. I want like a do this, but then she don't do that.
I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Yeah,
you know why? If I tell you what to do, then you're going to do the opposite anyways.
That is very true. Yeah.
So you don't listen.
I don't
listen.
You're
a typical
but
child.
I do listen to you.
Not all the time.
But majority more you than anybody else.
But not all of the time. And when you don't want to listen to me, you avoid me.
Heck yeah.
Exactly.
What? So heck yeah. I'll run. I'll disappear off the face of the earth. I'll pick up shifts. I will literally work my behind off.
Yeah, you avoid me as much as possible.
110%.
And I leave you alone because I already know you're avoiding me.
And then she'll come find me.
Because eventually you're going to be like, well, this is what happened. So with your journey and all of your little experiences, a lot of people get upset with her in the family because she's constantly getting jobs and quitting.
It's because I'm indecisive, guys. I rather just figure it all out, and they don't like that. So I just like to go off of different things, and if I don't like it, I'll leave. I'll be like, okay, I don't like it.
What's the longest position you've ever held in any place?
CVS. That was like a year.
Really?
Yeah.
But that was one of like your first jobs, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was fun. It was so fun. My managers were tired of me. I would go there late, and they'd be like, and I lived across the street, so I could literally walk there.
But you were what? How old were you when you had
I think I was
cigarettes?
18. I had to wait till I was 18
Oh.
because I couldn't be behind the counter like selling cigarettes until I was 18.
Oh, I forgot about
And then
that.
they got rid of cigarettes. And now CVS is like a nicotine-free environment. But yeah, I think that was my longest because then I went to jobs and I didn't even last long at all. Flight attending was a year if you combine both of them. But it was like less than 6
count.
months. Yeah.
So I really push her to try to search for her passion and her purpose. It's just like growing up, I didn't have that opportunity to really search for passion and purpose. It was, I had to find a job that was going to sustain a roof over my head.
Yeah.
So her, that she has the opportunity, that she does have her mom, she has me, she has family members, that if anything, she doesn't need to live out of her car. She can live in somebody's place.
Yeah.
So she has gone through a lot of jobs.
A lot.
I think some of them were probably like 3 months, 4 months.
A week. If I get
Which one was a week?
A week was probably the one at it was in the mall. Which one was it? It wasn't Victoria's Secret. I think no. I lasted. Oh no, Home Depot was my longest job.
You weren't there that long.
I was
were
there.
you?
Yeah, I was there for a long time.
Okay,
I loved
so
Home
she's done
Depot. Such a great
CVS,
company.
Home Depot,
Victoria's Secret, Bath
Nike.
and Body Works, Nike. I almost did Sephora.
A collection agency.
That was my longest. That was for a year exact.
You were at
a year and a half.
A doctor's office.
I think it was a doctor's. I was at an OBGYN office.
You worked with me for a while.
Yeah, I did.
You were with me for a while though.
Yeah, I was with you for a while. But like besides you, I think Home Depot was my longest.
Yeah, because I don't even know how long you were working with me though. I don't know.
I don't know. The OBGYN office, I worked there
for 3 months.
3 months exact. They fired me the day before my birthday. I was like, okay, that's cool.
So she left me to go to the OB-GYN. And then, and then after that.
It was I was doing Victoria's Secret at the same time as that. I've always worked like 2 or 3 jobs, like fluctuating at the same time.
So going through all of those jobs, is there any lesson learned?
No, keep doing it. You just have to figure it out. And there's a lot of things you learn from different jobs. They're all different environments.
But did you take anything from it? Did you take what you like and what you didn't like?
Yeah, of course. I don't like being an employee. I don't like being an employee. I'm not a good employee at all. But
why? Because you don't like the schedule, or you don't like?
I don't like someone telling me what to do when I know they're telling me something wrong. I don't like it. Like if there's something that's something little, like, you know, a lot of retail stores, they'll tell you something and you're like, that doesn't make sense. I don't want to do that. And then I won't do it. And then I end up quitting because I don't like the rules. The rules are dumb. It's stupid. Like most of them are dumb.
So you have issues with authority.
Yeah, I think
that could be with your age, though.
That could be with my age.
Besides that, I'm telling you what to do. Is there anything else you take from each job?
The different personalities and knowing how to like pivot in conversations and communicate with different types of people, because with all the jobs that I've had literally numerous of people, different kinds from all different like of countries and stuff, and knowing how to speak to them in certain tones and knowing how to like understand them is really hard at first. But then once you like go with the flow and you start getting different jobs, you just kind of pick up on things and you just do it. Like I understand Portuguese. Ask me if I can speak it. No. You could speak to me in Portuguese, I'll understand it. But I'm.
But you were around there for a while working at the outlet, right?
Outlet, but it was in Victoria's Secret when I started. But it's just like different things you adapt to. Like there's certain like environments that like make you not want to learn, and then there's like when you're in retail, you kind of have to like pick up on things really fast. So I don't know. I feel like that's the most, and it didn't teach me life lessons like really big.
So it didn't teach you anything about yourself?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm impatient.
You're impatient.
I'm impatient. I don't like being told what to do. I don't like being forced to work with people that I do not get along with.
Oh, we got to talk about that one too, because there was a little issue with that one. Yeah, there was a little issue.
I hate being in a room with someone I'm like, I don't like, and I'm like, oh, ew. I'm like, I don't want to be in this environment. But I have
times that you're gonna have to be around people that
I still am
just
in
don't
times
vibe
like that.
with.
Yeah, I'm still in times like that. Do I like it? No. Do I just suck it up? Yeah, I just suck it up. And I'm like,
yeah, but your facial expressions and your body language doesn't tell that person that.
Guess who I get that from?
That is not true.
Mm.
That is not true.
Oh, wow.
I can be neutral.
I can be neutral when I want to be. If I apply myself, I can do it. But if I just don't have the energy and I'm just like, if I don't care about it, then I'm like, I don't care. And I'm like, I think it is what it is. Like, I feel like I came from like a very people-pleasing personality to now I'm just like I care, but like to an extent. I'm like,
well, you were like that with the family too, though. Like you wanted to do everything they wanted you to do. Exactly. So that way you can please them with everything. And I was always that person telling you, no, do what's going to make you happy. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it was going to make you go through so many jobs in 1 year. But you know what? I had to say, yeah, you were figuring it out. And it's like, right now, do it. This is the time for you to do it. So
I always hustled. Even if I didn't have like a W-2 job, I always hustled figuring it out.
And it's even with me, she's my child, but she won't ask me for money. And if she does, if she needs it, what I do with her is she either babysits my fur baby.
My Bam Bam.
I have a French bulldog named Bam Bam. So,
my baby.
So she'll either babysit him or she'll do something so that she can gain that money from me. She won't just take money.
No, I don't believe in free money.
But mainly it's been babysitting Bam Bam.
Yeah, but free money is nice sometimes.
But you don't ask me for free money.
No, I don't do it. I won't accept it. Free money has to be given to me without me knowing who the person is. Like, you just have to, like, lay it on my bed and be like, oh, wow, I found money.
Fairy,
oh, my gosh, it's a miracle. Like, it has to come like that. If not, I'll be like, no, take it. Thank you. That's why I hate Christmas. It gives me such anxiety getting gifts. I'm like, I hate it.
Why? You didn't get that from me. I mean, I don't like to take gifts from people, but
I don't like taking gifts from people. And I hate, like, I love shopping. I love shopping for somebody, but I hate taking gifts. Like, it gives me so much anxiety. Like, I don't like to give
gifts either, though. I'm not a gift giver. I like to make memories.
I like that too. I think I like both. I like gifting people because I love, like, shopping for others. But when it comes to me, I'm like,
So now with all of that, she has started working and she also has her lash business. So you want to tell us about that?
Yes. I've been a lash tech since 2019, I think it was. I was in school. On and off. I had my esthetician license in 2019 and then I started branching off into the lash industry. Over the years, I've just been growing and like critiquing myself and like practicing and stuff like that, just making myself better and just evolving in the industry. And I've learned a lot and just kind of seeing like where my niche is at too, because I specialize in a specific type of lashes and a lot of people in my, I guess, city don't specialize in the same thing. So
which is what?
More natural aesthetic. Like a lot of girls in this city, like they like more of a dramatic, like out there, like they want it to like be the center of attention. And I kind of focus on things like enhancing your beauty, but also like I will do dramatic if asked, but I'm capable of doing it, but it's not something that I like to do, if that makes sense.
So you're doing your lash business and you're also working.
I am.
You're working at the hospital.
Yes, I work with that.
So you said you didn't like working for people or you like being told what to do. I'm sure they're strict. And No?
Because at the hospital, my position, I do my own thing. Like, they tell me what they expect out of me, and then I do it. But we don't have someone on our behinds that's, like, consistently like, hey, did you do this? Hey, did you do this? Like, somebody keeping you accountable every 30 minutes. We don't have that. Like, they kind of just entrust in us that we're going to take care of our patients. And it is what it is. If you mess up, then cool, they'll fix it. It's more of, like, a environment where you can make mistakes, and then they'll be like, hey, you did this yesterday. This is how you're going to do it tomorrow kind of environment. And then I work with kids. So it's like literally my happy place.
So you like it?
I love kids and I love my job.
So with all of that you're trying to do, running your business, how are you handling your time management?
Very good, because I work nights. So I don't know why, but I knew I was never early riser, right?
A morning person.
I'm not a morning person. Like, you will wake me up at 4 a.m. and I'll be fine. But if you tell me to be at work at 8, I will not do it. I don't know what it is. I get so much anxiety. I'll go to bed at like 4 a.m. when I should be up. And and it just won't happen. But now that I work night shifts, I get so much more sleep. So then I'll wake up towards like the afternoon times, and I can still regulate my time away from work. Like I can still wake up early and still be myself and live my normal life. People can't do that at night. And I think I'm just a night owl.
So do you think having all those other jobs helped you determine that too?
Oh yeah, because they're all day stuff, and I'm like, ugh, like I hate mornings. Like once I'm up, I love it, but getting me up.
But that's because you have a hard time going to sleep too, though. I mean, I go through the same thing, and just as my schedule, there's a lot of people, if you see all these mentors and everything that says you need to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning so that way you can do, exercise and do all of this stuff throughout the day so that you can be so successful. I call bullshit on that. It may work for a lot of people, but it just doesn't work for me. And obviously it's not working for you either.
Absolutely not.
For me, how I work best is to start off later in the day, but I also can work later. I can also work on the weekends and all of that. I own my own business, so I have the capability of being able to go in at any time, and I'm able to work virtually as well. So for me, I naturally wake up at about 7:30 in the morning. But I don't get off the bed. I can't. I'm not getting off the bed at 7:30 in the morning. I'm on the bed till about 8:30 in the morning. And that's because Bam Bam's rolling all over me, trying to get me up. He's stretching on top of me. And then we get up and we start our day. He knows the routine too. I take him out. Besides washing my face, brushing my teeth, I take him out, come upstairs, start breakfast and all of that, get ready. And he already knows all of that. And then I don't get to work till maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock, depending, because there's some days that I also work out. So I go to my trainer, work out in the morning. So then those days I'm probably at the office at around 11. But if need be, I'm there later. So, but I am successful. I've been doing it for over 7 years now, and it's worked for me, and it's been good for me. And my clients know that after 11 o'clock are appointments. Anything before that, I am struggling and my brain is not working. So you did take after me with that.
I did 100%.
We should have, you know what we should have done? Like had this a paper and just tally where
how
you're
many
similar.
things?
Yeah.
We already have 3, I think, or
Was
like
it
4,
3?
3 or 4, yeah.
Okay, so 3 or 4. Oh Lord, out of how many? But we'll figure it out.
We'll see. I'm your child, but like it's fine.
Yeah, you're my child. So with all of that, do you see yourself growing with the lash business, or is there something different that you want to do?
Now that I have, I love lashes, but my purpose for lashes wasn't to be a lash tech forever. I had a purpose going into my business, and I still have the same purpose. It's just kind of like learning someone's like face, learning what people like in the beauty industry, because in order for you to do other things, you kind of have to know what society likes out of things in order for you to make things. So that's still my initial business. I still love doing makeup though. That'll be always like my pride, my little baby.
So in your business, what has been the hardest moment that you've ever faced?
Learning how to go from 0 to 100 in like 2 weeks.
What do you mean 0 to 100 in 2 weeks?
Having nobody at all.
As in clientele?
Clientele, nobody at all. And learning how to come up with clientele with need be in a matter of a week or 2 weeks. Like coming from $0 to getting like $1,000. Like learning how to do that has been the hardest. But now that I've achieved it, it's like.
So how did you do it?
Sales.
So how do you go after those sales though?
Promotions. I do Instagram. I reach out to the same people. If I want sales, I reach out to specific type of group, and they always come.
With that, for me, when I was in the beginning of struggling and surviving, because in the beginning, a lot of people don't tell you that you're going to be really surviving, really struggling to make sure you have, you make ends meet.
Literally.
That's why I say if you're going to do it now at a young age, do it when you're still living at home, or, you don't have the responsibilities of being the sole breadwinner and having a home. But it comes down to mindset. You don't see that your mindset, you put your mind to it, and then you be like, okay, I'm going to make this amount of money. And you make that amount of money.
I make that amount of money. I have to be motivated though. If I say like, If I see something, like say if I have a bill coming up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get that money, I will literally get that money. If the bill's due tomorrow, I will have it by tonight. And I don't know how, but it just happens.
It's your mindset.
Yeah.
Your mindset, and you're feeding the universe what you want, and it's giving it to you. And then you hustle on it, of course, because you can't just sit back and be like, I'm going to be a millionaire and just sit there. Well, maybe you could sit back and say, I'm going to be a millionaire. And maybe you probably bought a lottery ticket or something.
Oh, I wish.
I don't play the lottery. I don't play the lottery, so.
I don't either.
Maybe you need to and be like, I'm going to be a millionaire by doing nothing and just sitting here and then just see the lottery.
It's too much luck. That's too much anxiety. You're just like, oh, I wish. And then you lose hope. And then you just, I don't want to get in that.
So with that being the most difficult, and you have been learning how to overcome that.
Yeah.
And what has been the easiest for you?
Honestly, learning new services, like learning what everybody's niche is. Because right now it's lashes. Everybody loves lashes. Before it was makeup. And like, I guess like the beauty industry goes into like phases of what they really like. And like learning how to adapt to that is easy for me. Because I can learn anything. Like you tell me how to do it and I will do it. And that's something I'm confident in. I can literally learn anything that you tell me to do. I will learn it. Now, if I do it right is another question. But I will learn it.
But
I will do it to myself.
I always tell you, don't worry about anything being perfect.
Right.
So just do it, and then you'll figure it out as you go. 100%. But you're one to try to fixate on perfection.
Yeah, 100%.
And you will hold yourself back because it wasn't perfect. And it's like, no, stop.
Yeah, I think it's because I hold myself to a certain like standard that I'm like, okay, but that helps me push myself to be better, because someone would be like, oh, that's beautiful, and I'm like, no, I know where I can critique myself and do better.
But I just actually heard this last night. I don't know if it was on, I don't know where I seen it. I don't know if it was Instagram or TikTok. They said you have to be very careful with not accepting compliments, because then they're going to stop giving you compliments and then you're going to start questioning yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was. I think it was a podcaster. I just can't remember her name. So you have to start accepting those compliments. I'm guilty of it big time. I don't like when anyone says anything great about me. And it's like, I don't believe that. But hearing that was like, man, It was like
that's
one
how
of
you
those
see
aha
you.
moments.
Yeah, that's how someone sees you. You're like, okay.
Yeah, and take
Cool.
it.
Yeah.
So you have to take that compliment.
Yeah.
So people are going to see you. They're going to be like, oh my God, Nana's doing all of this, which I'm proud of you because you're still doing what you got to do. Yeah. There's times that are you frustrated and I tell you, don't give up.
Literally all the time.
Figure it out. If this is something that you want to do, then you have to figure it out. Don't run away from it, because you're going to face different struggles. You're going to face different problems. You're going to face different situations. You're going to face clients that may not like you and may critique you. And you're going to have to really take that and run with it. But like, you know what can I learn from that? Yeah. And how can I become better from that situation?
Right.
But I know you wanted to give up at one point because there was some situation with a client.
Which one?
Which one?
Most of my clients, I mean, now it's not like I've never had a client that made me like completely want to be like,
you were pissed. You were just like, you mad. Just wanted to leave it alone.
Yeah, there was a lot that I get mad at, but now because of different experiences, I go into client, like when I do how do I describe this? When I first have like a new client and stuff like that, I kind of tell them what I expect out of them, and then they tell me what they expect out of me. And based off of that, that's how a relationship builds. If I know that they can't fulfill my expectations, they're fired as a client, and then I don't take them, because I don't need anyone who's not going to respect me or my business. If you can't follow rules and expectations in my business, you cannot do it. And I don't have many rules. Just take care of your lashes and just don't disrespect me. That's it.
So you set your boundaries.
Yeah. So, and I think because of those boundaries, I don't have clientele out of pocket. Like my clientele respects me now, if that makes sense. When I was first starting off, they would try to like maneuver, but learning how to build a backbone.
They try to take advantage of you.
Yeah. And learning how to build a backbone has helped me, because now I'm like, people will tell you, like, I don't mess around with my clientele. My clientele will literally tell you, like, no, this is what she needs. She wants.
So
out of you.
what made you get to this point?
Get to which point?
Where you're setting boundaries with your client?
I think it was probably because childhood. Because before, I didn't set any type of boundaries, and then as I'm going into the business industry, There was a lot of difficulties. You have to have a backbone. You have to be able to provide for yourself and still provide to your clientele at 110%. You have to make sure you put a face mask on. Even if you're going through things at home, you still have to provide for them and make sure that they don't take advantage of you as well, because then it's your business you're running. It's not theirs.
But at one point, you were getting very overwhelmed with...
I feel like there's so many points. I don't know which one is this one. I get overwhelmed so easily.
You
I'd
were
be like,
overwhelmed with life. I think you were
oh,
overwhelmed
yes.
with work. You were
and I ran away from everything. Yeah.
You ran away from everything. And you did...
Flight designing.
No.
Yeah,
it was prior to that.
No.
Yeah.
Home Depot?
It wasn't... You didn't go to another job. What did you do to yourself?
I hurt myself?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the time frame. After I did that, then I went to flight designing. I ran away.
But prior to that, what happened?
Yeah, you want to talk about the... Okay, so...
It could, because of the fact that when you're going and facing through a bunch of struggles and you're not putting boundaries with your clientele, and you're trying to live up in front to an expectation with all your clientele, you can't be overwhelmed. And with that overwhelmness, it can affect your mental
health. Yeah. So I would get overwhelmed very easily, and I didn't have any like friends, or like I had a boyfriend at the time too, but nobody in my circle or my family was very like mentally like supportive of me. Like they didn't help me with my mental health. It doesn't, in Hispanic cultures, it's not really a big thing either, so it's not something we expect. But that was not heavy, and I didn't know how to release a lot of my bottled up like feelings, because that year, what happened that year too? There was just so much that happened in 1 year, and I was just super overwhelmed, and I didn't go to therapy. I didn't have any release of outlet. Like I wasn't doing makeup at that time. I was just doing lashes, I think, right? I think I was just doing lashes. I was just working. Like, so it was just kind of like a routine thing, and I wasn't happy in my relationship nor in my friendship relationships. So it was just kind of like overwhelming, having different types of like scenarios and different types of people that just weren't my ground. Like nobody grounded me. So I would just float and let the emotions take me with them. And it was just super overwhelming. And I got to the point where I was like, oh yeah, I want to hurt myself. And then I did it. And then I regretted it. Literally right after, I was like, oh no, like I can't do that. So then I literally did the opposite. I threw up everything. And then I was like, okay, now is when I need help. And then ever since then, my mind shift. I said mind.
That's okay.
My mind shift completely changed after that. It took me about a year to stabilize like my mind. I think it was like, right? Like about a year. And then that's when I really got into like therapy, like heavy. But then I also fell off from faith and like God in that year too. So I didn't have any type of grounding whatsoever. So it was just like very overwhelming. I didn't stick to my routine because I don't have diagnosed ADHD, but I feel like I have ADHD. Like I'm always moving fast in my mind, and if I don't have my specific routine that works for me and I'm thrown off, then my whole entire day or my whole entire like world is shifted, and I'm like, oh my God, like I can't, like my OCD in a specific way. And that's what it was.
So after
I had no control.
After that, do you want to call it a scare? Or
it scared me for sure. Yeah, it was definitely a scare, but I caused the scare to myself. So I think, I don't know. You know how like people are like, oh, God will reach you in ways that you will understand. And even if he has to go to the lens of like what I did, he'd be like, that's how I had to reach you. He can't just tell you something. He had to get on my level to be like, hey, and scare me so that I'd be like, oh, wait, hold up. That's not what I really want. And that's what happened.
So you felt like you needed that to happen to get to where you're at right now.
Yeah.
So for those who have experienced that, what would you recommend to them?
Honestly, finding your ground. You have to find something that grounds you, whether it's faith, whether it's like something that you can release like or express yourself with. A lot of people confide in like art. A lot of people like to read, like lose yourself in a book, something that grounds you, but also you can express yourself to let that bottled up emotion out. Because if bottled up emotion builds, then you're going to get to a point where the emotions are so filled up and they like overflow to where you're going to have thoughts that you never thought you would have ever. And like you'll just wake up one morning and be like, whoa. And like it's not something you can control either, because like if people could control it, then they wouldn't happen. Because people don't really want to like do a lot of the things that they say. Most people.
I mean, there's people that do want to. We don't know what their mental state is at when they do it, and it actually happens and it goes through, and then they do.
Yeah.
unalive themselves, because I don't know if they'll
Yeah.
put this on TikTok. So unalive is what's on TikTok. But
Yeah.
um,
It's hard. But like at the same time, you'll be like.
but
like
you
I said-
did have people to go to. You were just trying to hide and not.
Yeah.
You were trying to portray that you had everything under control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I tell you, you don't always have to know everything.
Yeah.
You
100%.
can ask for help. And I think at that point, and I still think you still do it too, that you don't want to ask for help. You don't want people to see that you don't have your life under control, but it's okay to say, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
So it was very surprising when I had got the call with all of that happened. So of course I would drop anything to be at your side for it and make sure that you're better. But I can tell when you are going through something, how you do push away. So there's times, I'd be like, okay, should I go?
Yeah.
Should I bother you? Should I stalk you? Should I make you come to me? Or should I just let you do what you're doing and then eventually you come to me? Because eventually you do come to me.
Yeah,
You'll be
eventually.
like, I need a titi day. And then I'm like, okay, let's do a titi day.
Yeah. I think I learned that my coping mechanism is to retract and like kind of like sit in my feelings. And I've learned that in therapy, like you just kind of have to sit in your feelings, go through them without anybody like knowing about them. Because then once opinions come into it and people telling you what to do, like you said, I'm not going to listen. So it's just going to stress me out and overwhelm me more rather than me figure out by myself, like, how do I feel? Why am I feeling this? What's triggering this? Like trying to start a healthy habit of like figuring myself out instead of brushing it under the rug. And sometimes that takes isolation, and I'm a very isolated person when I can be. Like that's how I recharge is in isolation. And I like that because I could feel terrible one day and the next day I'm like completely opposite. And it's just because I needed to recharge and really sit in my feelings. And sometimes my feelings are not true. And it takes me to be in isolation to be like, no, that's not true. That's not how I feel. Maybe that's what I'm used to saying, but that's not really what the root of the problem is. And trying to find the root of the problem is what's hard. But those are things that I have to learn because one day I'm going to be a mom. How am I going to tell my kids like, oh, figure it out?
You're trying to say that how I tell you figure it out, it's not right?
Sometimes. No, but like.
So you want me to tell you, Nana, you need to go do this?
Yeah, sometimes
no,
I
you don't.
That. Yeah.
Nana, you will rebuttal me all the time.
But still take the rebuttal. I will take it in my ear and then sit at home and be like, okay, Titi was right. She told me this and this and this. It's just a matter of like, I don't know. It's just something to figure it out.
You won't take what I tell you sometimes.
Not in the moment, but it'll sit in my mind. And then when I go into my isolation, I'll be like, okay, she was right.
That's
and
why
I
plant, with me, I think I plant seeds in your brain. Like
100%.
do this, do that. Whatever it is, I try not to put that pressure on you because I do want you to make those mistakes. Even if you make the wrong choice, yes, make those mistakes. But know that I'm here to help you clean it up or fix it or whatever. So that's the reason why I try to sit back and I will never allow you to do too much
crazy.
of a
no,
crazy
you observe
thing.
me from afar. You'll like check in on me or something. Like you'll ask the specific questions and it'll like release an answer that you're expecting.
Because if, like I told you before, I think I went to your house one time. I did. When you were trying to start going and clubbing and coming home to whatever, you were acting like a little wild child. I went to your house and
like
I told you.
8 in the morning. I think it was like 8 in the freaking morning. I just woke up, y'all. She was sitting there giving me a talk and I was like, trying to comprehend everything.
But you comprehended and you stopped.
And then I stopped.
And I told you, one of the things that I want is that if I'm no longer around on this earth, did you take what I taught you? Right. Are you going to be okay? Are you figuring out life or are you just going to waste it?
Right. I feel like I live a little too much life sometimes.
But that's good though. I'm happy that you're living life because I didn't have that at your age. Right. You know how, as a parent, there's times that you want your kids to be able to do things that you didn't have or you didn't have the opportunity to have. So you have that. Yeah. And you have, we joke how we say her, her biological mom is my wife.
Yeah, that's very true.
So a little background with that is, we've known each other since I was probably like 13, we were very young when we known each other, families, friends and stuff. And so we joke about that, and because her biological father was not around.
Yeah, he wasn't around in my childhood.
And there's a lot of struggles with that, of course.
100%.
With the men, the male figures in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And then so then also she had another male figure, which was her sibling's father. And then he wasn't in your life.
But I respect him a lot more though. Like,
who, your biological
no,
or
the one that wasn't my dad. I don't know why, but I have a certain respect for him.
because you actually lived with him.
Yeah, maybe it's because of that. I have a respect for him. Even though I know the things I know, I still have a level of respect.
But also, too, he's always claimed you. He's never said that you were not
And
his
I think
daughter.
that's why.
Yeah. Because he knows you're not his biological daughter,
Right.
but he's always claimed you as his daughter.
He has
no
me
matter
tattooed
what.
on his arm, y'all. My name is literally
The
incorrect
biggest one.
too. And it's incorrect too. He's misspelled it.
I think I have the picture too.
It's A for effort, I guess.
So then you had those two, and then you had more men figures in your life.
I did have more men figures in my life, but I think because of all the men figures, it kind of like, I was super confused as a kid because I don't really know. I didn't have like a baseline of how a man is, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how to describe
You
that.
didn't have you had one.
But it wasn't something that I had one in my life,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a certain mask people wear that you can't identify who they truly are until it's revealed.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like my whole entire life, a lot of people wore a lot of masks. So it's hard to identify certain things,
What do you mean by that? You think that person had
There's
a mask?
two people. I feel like there's two people, like, primarily in my life, like,
Mm-hmm.
as a father figure, besides, like, my grandpa. Like, I feel like my grandpa was, like, in and out, like, on my dad's side, but he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could call him and he'd be like, oh my God, but people, like, in my life was probably my mom's ex-husband and then your ex-husband.
Mm-hmm.
So those were the only two. Because besides that, who did I have? I had uncles, but they weren't present.
You had your uncles, but you didn't have a good relationship with your mom's ex-husband.
I didn't, but I think it's because I repent. I don't know. I think it was just in that state.
Resented.
Yeah, I resented a lot because I needed a lot. I needed a specific type of caring as a child, and it wasn't like normal. Like I was very like I'm an empath, so like I needed someone to fuel me, if that makes sense. So I never got that.
And this is something that I've always told you when I was going through my whole process of my divorce and my healing with all of that. I know you were going through your own breakup with him, basically.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think to this day, you've tried to sweep that under the rug.
110%.
And I've always said you need to heal from that, and you haven't.
I need a tissue.
I don't know if there's any here. Is there any over there?
If I cry, you have to cry too.
I love you.
Thank you.
So I really want you to heal from that because I think you run away from it and you haven't really healed from it. And I know when I was going through my own thing, I had to accept you weren't around.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of times when we talk about it, and I commend Desi for being around and being in my life when I was going through those ups and downs.
Yeah.
You always say, oh, just remember I'm your child. Yeah. But it has nothing to do with it. It was just that you couldn't be there because you had your own breakup that you were going through.
Yeah, I think it was easier for Desi too because there was a relationship they had, but it wasn't like as deep as like a father figure.
But you also lived through a lot with me and a lot of experiences with me in that situation. But is there anything that you want to say from that?
I feel like, I don't know. It's just like it's like when people like get a divorce and like you see those kids, they're like, oh my God, my mom and my dad. But then like they're still involved with each other and you're like, why are you sad? Like, why are you so sad? It wasn't like that. It was like a clean break and it was like separation from everything. And like even when I did see that person, there was so much bottled up feelings that I was just like I was just like, ew, like don't be around me. Like I would be like cordial and I'd be like hello, like stuff like that, and like yeah, I wanted to be like, oh my god, hi, like how are you? But it was like, you did that and you left, and it was the same thing that everybody else did. So it was like, how do you want me to react and pivot? And it was a year after I like almost committed like suicide. So I was like, it was like what a year, it was about a year.
It wasn't a year. It was just a few weeks later.
Oh, then yeah. So I was very, very vulnerable, and I was just like going with it, and he left me alone.
So he was the first call she made when she did try to hurt herself or unalive herself. It was him. Yeah. And he raced to her and called me. Yeah. And we were together in the hospital to be there by her side. So a few weeks later was when he decided he did want to have the divorce, for us to go through the divorce. Yeah. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but you asked me, do you think what I did?
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, you asked me, do you think what I did pushed him to ask for the divorce? And I said, no, this is something that he was internally battling for a long time. Yeah. So I know you had your own struggles with it because you were mad.
I was so mad. I was built up. Like I had so much anger inside of me. I was like doing off the wall stuff.
So this is where I say she is my child, because she did suffer that divorce. So I think you suffered that divorce more than anything I've seen you go through.
Because then I also lost Dulce, and then I also...
So Dulce was my beagle. So she passed away a few months prior. She passed away May of 2020, I think it was. When did I get divorced? I got divorced... Where are we at? 23. Last year was our divorce. 22. She was passed away 21. Yeah. So May of 21. Nana hurt herself December of 21.
I got out on Christmas from the hospital.
And then January 20th of 22 was when the divorce was dropped on me. So we had the passing of Dulce, which was my first fur baby. And then her, and then the divorce. So then you see me crying that you've never seen me ever cry the way I cried. No. So I think
it takes a toll on me.
And then I think you were going through that.
And then I was also like close. It was just back to back. There was like no breather. And then I went through everything. So I was trying to figure myself out and going to like outpatient therapy, because I was in it was a psych ward basically, right? It was a psych ward. So being in there to then being in the outside world was day and night, literally day and night. You would be like, oh my god. And like the people that were in there, they would always tell me, be like, oh, I don't know why you're in here. I don't know why you're in here. Till this day, people tell me, I don't know why you're in there. And like they don't understand like they don't understand me, but it's hard because I can't explain it to people who don't understand, because people who get me, and people who don't. And it's like talking to a wall. Like some people are just not meant to understand. And I've learned that. And that's fine. But it was something that I felt like I wanted to be so understood, but there were so many things back to back to back that I was literally drowning in my mind, like overflowing. And then things at home, and it was just like tapped out. And then Bella died. And I literally had to grab her from under the bed, because I didn't want my mom to do it, because I was like, that's going to be too hard on her. Baby. Yeah, and I didn't want my mom to do it. That was too much for her to handle. She had to go to work. And I was like, I'll do it. So I grabbed her, and then I went to the vet, and I literally broke down. And they knew. And I was like, yeah. And she was like in a blanket, my little baby. But
so with all of that, you did get Baker Act, and here in Florida, you do get Baker Act, and you have to be held for 72 hours.
Yeah, willingly. I turned myself in.
No, but Baker Acting, you're getting held unwillingly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I went in there.
You went in, and when she did so, I didn't know to the extent of what she did, but when the doctor finally came to me and told me what was done, they were going to have to Baker Act her. Yeah. I don't know if I ever told you that Theo did cry.
Oh, no, you didn't tell me
He did cry. He hugged me, and he said, I'm sorry for putting you through this. When I put you through this is maybe one of the hardest things that he could ever experience.
Yeah, he couldn't even be like he was next to me, but like he couldn't be next to me. Like, if that made sense. Like, he had really bad anxiety.
It hurts to see your loved one going through that.
And I think he needed that, though, too.
Yeah, and not knowing how to help you.
Yeah, because he can't. Like I said, that's why I work on myself. Because, like, if I have kids one day, how am I going to help them go over something that I've never learned how to get over myself? So that's the problem he had. He doesn't know how to help other people because he never did it himself. He never got over that. He just keeps doing it.
So that's why I want you to heal from that.
Yeah.
I really want you to
I think it's more of
face
like
it and really, I don't know what needs to be done for you to heal from that. I don't know if it's writing him a letter, even if he never reads it, or you actually reaching out to him and talking to him yourself.
No.
There's something for you to explore so that you can heal from that.
Yeah.
Because I think, like you said, he was in your life for 17 years.
Yeah, he was. We used to call him Vampire.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know his name at first.
When they were small, I first brought him around. They called him Vampire, but you were really close. You were really close with him, but you also lived a lot with me in those experiences, whether they were good or bad.
Well, in our family entirety, like my whole family, it's like chaotic. There's no peace. There's no other way to describe it. You have peaceful moments, but overall, it's been a chaotic, beautiful mess, if that makes sense. Like
a chaotic, beautiful mess.
Yeah, like it's just like it's very chaotic, and I'm sure other families go through the same thing or like something similar, but it's just hard.
That's why too I tell you, don't feed into certain things when especially in like group chats and someone's being rude or whatever, just don't feed into it. Because there's no point of doing that, because it's going to break your peace, and you have too much on your plate to be worried about that.
And I feel like right now I'm probably at my most peace that I've ever been,
because you're doing your own thing.
Yeah, and I think
you're working, you're busy, you're working on your goals, you're striving for what you want. That you're not bothered by gossip or anything. I'm the same way, and that's why they say when you go through healing, you tend to see you're by yourself, you're lonely, and it's a good lonely though, because when I was going through the divorce and all of that, I lost friends. And you know who I lost or whatever. I've lost several friends because I couldn't show up for them the way I used to show up for them. And how can I show up for them when I was going through my own turmoil mentally? So, of course, I'm not going to go around telling everybody what I was going through in the moment, because it was hard for me to even understand it or even admit to it. So I was going through my own self-destruction at that time. And I couldn't show up for other people. So I did lose a lot of friends from it. But now it's like, I'm good. I'm good because I'm working on stuff. So I'm going through lessons in life. And it's like, you're watching me go through these lessons, but I think it helps you as well.
Yeah, it does help me, because a lot of people now till this day, a lot of people say I have a mindset of like probably an older person just because of I've lived a lot of life, but I've lived through other people's eyes as well. Because I have personally not been in a lot of things that other people have been, but I've been there when they're going through things. So I kind of take everything in, and like without me even realizing, I'll just learn from it. It just happens. Like, it's not something that like I control. It's just kind of like, oh, I'm not going to do that.
So we're coming up short on time. I always ask, there's going to be a few questions, but it's going to be not long answers. We're going to be quick. In front of cameras, in front of everybody.
Is it going to be bad?
No. Oh. Me as a person, as your titi mami.
Oh, that's a cute name. Why do we ever think of that?
I don't know. We just thought about it right now. Cool. So, titi mami, what would you want me to do to help you in life? Like you said, there's certain things that you wanted me to do, whether it's telling you what to do.
Keeping me accountable. Like kind of like pushing me when I don't have like motivation. Just like, no, do it.
I think I do that though too.
Yeah,
sometimes,
but like being like more like upfront, like just like being like, hey.
How much more upfront do you want me to do? Because I think I'm pretty upfront. I'm very blunt.
I think it's more with like relationships though, because business wise, like I'll come to you and you're like, okay, cool. Like you'll tell me what I need to do, but like I think it's more with relationships, not like just romantic, but like friendships too. Navigating those, I think that's what I need more people to like guide me, because like there's certain things I don't know, and then I figure out I'm like, now I have to go through like a whole process of like healing from that. I'm like, I could just avoid that if like I just knew one thing.
I think that's hard for me too, though, because you know what? There's actually someone that I'm gonna bring on that she talks about friendships and how to work on friendships and obtaining good friendships. So that's gonna be a good one for us to both listen on to.
I feel like I've been better though. I feel like I've been very good at like dictating who's gonna be a friend in my life.
Yeah, you have.
I've been
But I also did tell you, you have to accept that friends, there's different types of friends in your life, and 100%. Not everybody's going to be a close friend to you.
Right.
You have their friends that you go out with, you have, whether they're acquaintances or friends, or you have them, the ones that you go to brunch with, or the ones you actually really hang out with and they turn into family. So
yeah, I was just telling Desi that I think of friendships as a highway. Like we all have our own lane, and then sometimes we merge into another one, like there's different highways. We're all in our own lane, but we coexist with each other. And I feel like that's how I view it. And then when someone gets in your lane, that's when it's like, okay, no, like you need to get back in yours.
Yeah,
I feel like we should
live. Good analogy.
Yeah, it's kind of like relationships romantically. Like you live life together, not together. If that makes sense.
I like that. So then the other question, that was the first time I asked that question, though, by the way. But the question that I usually ask people is, do you feel successful?
I do. I feel successful in my life just because I'm happy. And I feel like success means happiness. Because if you're happy with everything in your life, then you're successful.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
You're so cute.
Oh, I get it from you. But yeah, because if you're not happy, then you're not successful. Even if you have a load of money, you're still not successful because you're not happy.
Empty feeling.
Yeah. You're still looking to find that something. So if you're truly happy, then...
You've grown so much.
I know,
you're so
right?
Cute.
Thanks.
So then, before we go, is there anything that you wanted to portray? Any message you wanted to relay on here? What would it be?
Take it day by day. Just feel everything. Take it day by day. Do whatever you want. Just responsibly. Very responsibly. And just kind of like... just explore yourself. A lot of people that are watching are probably like 20s, 40s, like mid-range.
From the demographics that I seen, it was like maybe 20s to the 40s.
A lot of people give up on things and just keep trying. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to do that because of my age or something like that. Or like they just have different mindsets. They give up on love. They give up on like career, a whole bunch of stuff. Just like keep trying. Just put yourself out there. Even if you fail, you're going to bust your ass, but still do it. Just keep going.
I'm so proud of you. See, you are my child.
I knew
you
it.
are my child. So for for those that want their lashes done here in Orlando, how can they find you?
Through my Instagram, it's Elyahna.lb, and I'm sure that it's ELYAHNA.lb.
Say it slowly because you probably got me lost there.
It's ELYAHNA.lb. I had to like write out my name. But yeah, that's where I post. I now have a TikTok too, so I'm going to try to branch off into that. That's the same thing as my Instagram as well, though. So I'm trying to keep it all united.
So her name is Elyahna, but they call her Ellie. But for us,
it's Nana.
But thank you for coming.
Thank you.
See, it wasn't bad, right?
It was bad. I tried.
All right. So thank you guys for tuning in, watching on YouTube, and listening to on the podcast. Please like, share, review, and subscribe. But please review. I am looking at the reviews so I can see what's the next topic you guys want to listen to. But thank you for coming.